Yeah, less than an hour ago, rain poured over Hampton roads, but it has lost its steam.
Fortunately, take a look at this video of cars driving through the flooded sections of downtown Norfolk. The raindrops on our Norfolk Tower camera have cleared for now. Let's check it now with Evan Stewart. Evan, any rain tonight?
Well, there'll still be a shower or two in a few spots as we head through the evening hours. Notice most of the activity right now is down across areas of North Carolina and out towards our west, where we have a severe thunderstorm warning between Lynchburg and Farmville. But here locally, we had that one thunderstorm that produced the heavy rain, moved out of Virginia Beach and across areas of Norfolk. We have seen a few more, as we mentioned, popping up here off towards the south. We still have this flood advisory for parts of downtown Norfolk and Portsmouth. That runs until 5:45 p.m. just because there's still water that's lingering on the roadways. It just isn't draining off as fast when that rain comes down over a short period of time. It really overwhelms those storm drains, and that's what we've seen through parts of downtown Norfolk and Portsmouth. That storm popped up here over parts of Virginia Beach and worked its way off towards the west, almost like on a little bit of a sea breeze front, and you can see that heavy rain that fell through downtown Norfolk and Portsmouth a little bit earlier this afternoon. Now tracking just a couple of spotty showers back through Bertie County, a couple here right through Hertford County, Gates County, and down through Chowan and Perquimans County. So let's take you back to this morning. We had the cloudy skies. Humidity started to build during the day. We saw a little bit of sunshine, and that allowed those clouds to really start to develop. And as we went through the early afternoon, you can see the skies darkening up. And here comes that big thunderstorm that rolled through, producing all the rain a little bit earlier. Now, if you have evening plans, we are looking at mostly cloudy skies for the next several hours. Still a 20% chance of an isolated shower or a thunderstorm. Notice temperatures bouncing up a little bit as we see a little bit of sunshine before sunset and then dropping back into the 70s. We are looking at the heat and humidity, though, setting to build up over the next few days. Some of the hottest air we've seen since, well, last week. I'll have details on that coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, thanks, Evan. Allie Weatherton continues our live team coverage. She's standing in the floodwaters in the Ghent section of Norfolk. Allie.
Yeah, that's right. I'm at the Chrysler Museum at the Glass Studio here at the intersection of Grace and Duke. Now, I want my photographer to pan to my feet. You can see how deep it is. It's coming over the curb, and a lot of people are braving this, driving through. You can see several SUVs are going through, but I also saw a lot of cars going through as well, which I don't think is very smart. You can see here, it's just coming right over it, creates a little bit of a wave. Now, if you look, it's a lot higher than what it was a couple minutes ago. And I was talking to people in the area, and they were telling me that in the past 30 minutes, you know, that rain really came down and was hitting really hard, but then it ended up kind of going away. And she said, this is what happened. It flooded, and now the flooding is going down. Now, the best part advice is to not drive in this. If you do, it could flood your engine. Live in Norfolk, Allie Weatherton, 13 News Now.
We have some breaking news out of Newport News. Police there are investigating a fatal shooting.
Yeah, it happened on 18th Street just before 3:30, and there's no word on what led to the shooting. Police have not released details on a suspect. We have a crew heading to the scene, and we'll update you on this investigation as soon as we learn more.
New information on the officer-involved shooting near Naval Station, Norfolk last night. Virginia State Police say India Nelson was shot and killed by a Norfolk police officer.
The shooting started around 7 o'clock, and that's when police responded to a crash on Admiral Taussig Boulevard and Hammond Avenue. Police say Nelson shot her husband, and that's when the officer returned fire. Our Stephen Graves is live in Norfolk with the latest on what happened last night. And Stephen, what have you learned about all of this?
Well, Janet, we learned that that car wreck leading up to this officer-involved shooting was a result of a domestic dispute between Nelson and her husband. The Navy confirms both of them are active duty Navy stationed at Naval Station Norfolk. And of course, this became the scene last night at around 7 o'clock in the evening. Norfolk police say when responding to that wreck, Nelson allegedly shot her husband, severely injuring him. That's when one of their officers fired at Nelson, killing her. We're still trying to learn how many shots were fired. Now, we spoke to a witness of the shooting aftermath on the phone. He didn't want to identify himself, but he describes an unsettling scene when he saw what he now knows was Nelson's body.
The other individual on the other side of the car wasn't moving at that moment, and there was what I would consider a large amount of blood next to them.
And so right now what we know is essentially there are two investigations happening. Norfolk police are investigating the shooting of Nelson's husband, while state police are looking into that shooting that killed Nelson. So what we're asking is, what about these fine details that led up to an officer firing and using this force on Nelson? Hear what police had to say and hear from that witness about how officers were acting on the scene when he drove by. That's all coming up in the next hour. Reporting live in Norfolk, I'm Stephen Graves, 13 News Now.
Breaking news out of Chesapeake. Fire officials have confirmed that lightning was the cause of the 4-alarm fire at a senior living apartment complex. Fire broke out Saturday morning around 4:30 and 3 people were killed and about 150 residents are left without a place to stay. 3 of the 5 buildings went up in flames and were left with significant amounts of damage. And we've learned the buildings where residents were killed did not have a fire alarm system. Coming up at 5, we'll have the latest on what the building's owners are saying about the fire.
Bond was denied for Breonna Sullivan. She is charged with second-degree murder. Her charges are in connection to a shooting in Virginia Beach Sunday night. Police got the call about someone with a gunshot wound on Hubert Place. When officers arrived, they found a man's body and the suspect on the scene. She spoke only to 13 News Now and says she and her husband got into an argument that escalated. Sullivan claims he threatened to kill her, so she shot him. Their 3-year-old daughter saw the entire thing. She's staying with family members.
In more than an hour, Hampton Roads Transit will give a presentation on light rail. The council meeting is tonight in Norfolk. Right now, HRT is trying to figure out a way to expand the tie to Naval Station Norfolk. An engineering firm is conducting a $1.4 million year-long study to determine the best possible path.
A title loan business has filed a lawsuit against the city of Norfolk. LoanMax filed the suit challenging City Council's rejection to reopen a store destroyed by fire. The business says they never got a fair chance to present their case. The city has expressed its dislike of title loan businesses. The lawsuit alleges the council's vote was based on its dislike for the industry as a whole.
We're getting a little bit of a break from the heat, but get ready because it will be back in full force later this week. And there is a program on the peninsula called Fan Care, helping some residents. The organization will give out free fans or window AC units to older adults. Our Jacqueline Lee has the details.
Well, this week is going to get hot, and an agency is trying to keep senior citizens in the peninsula cool.
We've got your PAA fan.
It was a delivery that changed Future Wilson's life.
I was a happy little camper.
While it might not look like much, don't underestimate the power of a few blades and a motor.
I was perspiring a whole lot. Now I can put the fan on me and keeps me cool. And I can just lay down and go to sleep and I'm peaceful.
It's a free fan provided by the Peninsula Agency on Aging, part of a program for senior citizens with low income.
We try to screen them to make sure that they have a medical condition and that they are in need of some kind of cooling assistance.
Care coordinator Susie Castle delivered the fan to Wilson and countless others, but it's more than just a way to keep them cool.
It's a wonderful program, gives us a great opportunity to help people to stay at home and be comfortable.
And for Wilson, who can't stand a lot of heat and can't use air conditioning due to her health.
She set it up for me and put it on me, and I just felt so good. And I looked over at my babies, and they were just putting their little wings together and got them jumping. So I was happy.
In Newport News, Jacqueline Lee, 13 News Now.